Hello, this is Andrew from Specto Watches again with another one of my little how accurate is it out of the box videos for some of these cheap Chinese watches that you can get on AliExpress. Probably, I guess, the least professional of all the watch review videos, but it's a bit of fun. So I've bought another watch from AliExpress to see what it's like out of the box. Here it is. And we'll have a little look inside here and see how accurate it is, but there could be a little caveat to that, so I think we'll have to do we'll see what happens when we open the box. But what I want to do first of all is explain why I've bought this particular watch. So let's go and have a look in a minute, but I just wanted to really provide an excuse for buying it. I guess perhaps that's the answer to the question. And it really stems from the watches that we've looked at so far. Now, this sort of journey started with this Liga watch, which I think cost about £65, and I've worn it quite a bit, and I have to say I really like it. £65, not a lot to complain about. And in fact, it would have been absolutely spot on, I'd have said, in many respects, had they managed to get this lined up with the 12 o'clock dial. When you try and line it up at 12 o'clock, it's about a third of a second out. Might be able to see that, which is a little bit annoying for my OCD. But generally speaking, very pleased with that. Very accurate as well, I've got to say, for what it is. Next one that came along was this Paul Ray, or whatever you want to call it, Planet Ocean type homage thing, which is still all over the place. It gains about 30 seconds a day, and that's roughly where it is. It can be more than that sometimes, and that's why it's a little bit varied and wild. But it was about £19. Next on the list was this FN Green, which was only £12.50, and I was keen to see how this worked out. And if you've seen one of the other videos, it lasted all of an afternoon before it packed up and broke, and it hasn't done anything since, so waste of time. Next on the list came the Steel Dive SD 1970 Captain Willard, and this is a great watch. £75 roughly, 75, 77, something like that, and I really like this. It's excellent. Can't speak about it highly enough for the money. And in reality, there is a big difference in the quality of something that cost under £20 in that case and that case. And what I concluded was that if you want to spend £20-ish or less on AliExpress on a watch, then please go and buy yourself a quartz watch instead of a mechanical watch. Now, this one I bought, like I said before, I bought for my son. It's kept perfect time pretty much as a quartz watch for the last few months, and for £20, which he wanted to try as a colourway, absolutely spot on. Can't complain about £20 that works that accurately in comparison to this and this. So, to the reason why I've bought this. Well, there is clearly an obvious price gap between these two and those two. So the task was then, I thought, well, to see what you get when you buy something pretty much in the middle of that price bracket. So let's open it up and have a look. Now, this watch cost me, on a bit of a sale in AliExpress, £35.50, I think. £35.50. So, sort of in the middle. And there we are. It's a Benya mechanical watch. Now, let's open it up. Take the cardboard sleeve off, and we're left with this box. So inside is, all those bracelets. Okay, let's have a look. Clean cloth. Here we go. So it is one of their Rolex Milgauss copies. Homage, whatever you want to call it. So there we are. So that was £35. And what we'll do is we'll put it on the time grapher and see how it runs out of the box effectively. But there is potentially one issue with these first. And that is, if you look at some of the other reviews on YouTube, there's quite often the complaint that it comes with it highly magnetized out of the box, which seems totally ironic, doesn't it, when the whole purpose of the original Rolex Milgauss is to prevent magnetism for the movement. And here we are with something of an homage to that watch, which potentially suffers from being quite magnetic out of the box. In no small measure, one seems to assume, is to the magnetic catch on the box. So there we are. Is that the case? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to see if that's the case first of all before we do anything with it. Now, if these are magnetic, they tend to run quite fast. So I'm wondering if you can see this. So here we go. So here's a magnet. So we'll just run it underneath and see. So it is a little bit. Yeah, clearly there is an element of that going on. So you can use a compass to do this. The other way you could do it is with a magnetometer app on your phone, and that's what I've been using. But this is just a fairly good indicator of whether something is magnetic. And you can see it is moving it slightly. It's not shockingly bad. That's pretty good actually. And this Bliga one I've had for quite a while, and in that period of time I've been using it, it has picked up some magnetism on the movement, if you can see that. Okay, so that needs to be demagnetized, and I'm waiting for this to run down before we go ahead and demagnetize it. But as the Benya seems to be running, let's take this off of here. And what we'll do is we'll put this on here instead. So let's see what happens. Now, somebody said on one of the last videos I did, in fact it was the Captain Willard one, that he'd purchased one of these off AliExpress and it was wildly inaccurate. I think he was saying minutes a day or something. And I guess that is one of the risks you take from buying something from AliExpress. In reality, it is a risk. Because you can't exactly send it back, can you, really, if you're really unhappy with it. But in this case, this one, I'm happy to say, is really good. And I see lots of the other forums or reviews on these also say theirs are very good. So it is just a case of see how you get on. Which tells a story now, because if we can come into this a little bit. So this is not wound up. I've got to be honest, I think this is just at the point where it's only just running. And I think that's probably why the figures are so horrendous on it. But I'm going to wait for it to run down. And what we'll do is we'll demagnetize it. And we'll see how we do that. And then we'll wind it up and try it again.